Hello, my name is Jennifer Halverson. I'm a mentor with FRC Team 272 out of Lansdale Catholic High School in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. And I've also been an FLL coach for the last 7 years. So this is a presentation for coaches or mentors that are just getting started with FLL Challenge, or perhaps are looking into starting a team on their own. So you might be asking yourself, well, what do I have to do and what's involved? So first thing you're going to need to do is get a robot, of course, and the components needed to build the robot. You have two choices that are legal for competition for first. So the first one is the Lego Education Spike Prime and the Lego Mindstorms EV3. I have only ever worked with EV3, so I can't give you any feedback. You'll probably just want to do some research to find out which one of these would best suit your needs. Each year, you will have to register your team. For 2020, the season's registration cost is $225. And then you will also need to order a challenge kit for $75. Your challenge kit is actually the game and all the pieces that are used with the game. You will need a very large board to put your challenge kit on, a tablet or computer to program the robot and work on your project. You'll need practice space, and then you will most likely want to register for a qualifying competition, and the registration fees are around $100 to $150, depending on where you live. And then you also are going to need clearances. So you will want to check with whatever parent organization or school you were working under to find out what clearances are required. If you are working on your own and putting a team together by yourself, I would highly recommend you still get clearances just to protect yourself. So these are some examples of clearances that we need here in Pennsylvania. Okay, so there are 3 main components of the challenge. I did include a 4th one here because these are the 4 components that the students are judged on when they go to a competition. The first is the missions, and this is the game. The robot has 2.5 minutes to complete tasks on a challenge mat in trying to score as many points as possible. So the next part is the project. So each year, first identifies a theme. This year's theme is play. And they ask the teams to think of a problem related to the year's theme, come up with some sort of solution, create a presentation, and then share their ideas outside of their team. While you're working on these, and this is what you spend most of your time working on, you want the team to keep in mind the core values: discovery, innovation, impact, inclusion, teamwork, and fun. And then when they go to a competition, they will also be judged on the robot design and the robot programming. Okay, here is the FLL Challenge, kind of the main site at firstinspires.org. And this is where you're going to find most of the information that you need to have a successful year. So as you can see, you have cost registration, challenge resources, but there's a resource library, team management, core values, lots and lots of information here. Do make sure that you make yourself very familiar with all of these. I'm going to go to challenge and resources right now. And here is where you will find more detailed information on this year's challenge. So when you get started with FIRST, you are going to want to register on the website. That, if you remember, there was a button there for cost and registration. And then once you are registered, you are going to create what's called your dashboard. And I'm going to go to my dashboard so you can see what I'm talking about. And when you're in your dashboard, you will be able to register your team and pay for it. I can click on my cart here and order my challenge kit as well. Also, while you're in your dashboard, each year you're going to need to sign a consent and release form. And I do believe that FIRST will have you kind of go through their own clearance form. I don't think there's a cost involved, but I could be wrong on that. So excuse me if I'm giving you the wrong information, but it's been a while since I've done it. In your dashboard here, you will also be able to register, to invite your team members' parents to register them with FIRST and electronically sign a consent and release form. You will need to have that consent and release form signed in order to attend any competitions. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I'm actually going to come out of here, and I want to go back to that main site right here. And if I go down, you will see there's the Robot Game Rulebook. So here on my Robot Game Rulebook, this will give you the rules of the game, obviously, but it will tell you how to set up your mat. It will tell you how to set up your missions. So you see here, this is an overview of the whole challenge. Each of these M00 to M15 represent missions. So there are 15 different missions that the robot can do. Also on your challenge, your rule book, it will give you information on each of the missions. So it will go into, it will explain what the robot needs to do. If the robot passes completely through the pull-up bars, right frame at any time, 15 points. So it'll tell you what the robot needs to do and how many points it can score. Let's go on back here. You also notice there is a kickoff video. When you start meeting with your team, one of the first things you are going to want to do, even if you don't have your challenge kit yet, is start showing the video. There's also the Robot Games mission video. So the Robot Games mission video is a video that your team is going to want to watch a couple of times so they become very familiar with the missions. You can also right away start brainstorming your project. So talk about what problems that the team can come up with related to the theme and some solutions. You can also start talking about what missions you might want to have the robot attempt, and of course, start building the robot once you get the materials for that. So generally what I do is start with a basic design for the robot. So I've included a link here to some different basic designs, and then we change the robot based on our needs as we go through the season. So by the end of the season, we usually have a robot that is just unique to us. Okay. So now let's say your challenge kit has arrived. You're going to need to build the missions that you saw on that board. So here's what I do. I will take one of the missions and I will assign 2 team members to assemble each mission. These 2 students then are responsible for placing it when we set up the board. And if you have to break down each time, like we do, they are responsible for putting it away. And unfortunately, they are Legos, so they do break on occasion. So these 2 students would be responsible for rebuilding the mission correctly if it does break. Okay, so here is the building instructions. Again, it's just a link. I've gone back to the, if you notice here, I've gone back to the replay build instructions. I've gone back to the website. And I'm going to jump on down to the mission model build instructions. Okay. What I also do is you will see here that these are PDFs for building each of the different missions. You can go into the overview here and it will tell you which bag is in or what mission is in each bag, kind of, sort of, it doesn't quite. So let me give you an example. If I go to bag number 2 here, bag number 2 will tell me this is what I'm going to build. This is actually mission number 6, and it's called the pull-up bar. So what I will do is hand the students a large gallon Ziploc baggie and write their names on the bag. I will write the mission number 6, pull-up bar, and then take this bag number 2, dump it into that Ziploc baggie, because after it's opened, you no longer need to worry about this number. So that is how I do it. You're welcome to take a look at a document that I've made here. If I have older students who are using their phones, many of them know how to go on to Google, and many might also have an account that is online. So what I do is I will share this document with them and put the link to each mission right here so that they know, and their names, so that they know if they're building bag number 2, which this is from last year, but bag number 2, they would click on that, and that's what they're doing. I also get to keep track of who's building what to make sure everything is getting built correctly. Okay. So now you've started meeting with your team, you're progressing with your missions, programming the robot, you're working on your project. Don't forget about that. Here are some tips. Please keep in mind that the students should be doing the work. So you are there to help guide them and give them help when they need it, but you really want to have them actually do as much work as possible. Now, when it comes to programming the missions, I'm just going to say, because that's a whole nother presentation, there's lots of resources online to find it. So as you're meeting, don't forget about the core values. I started this last year, and I really liked it, that every meeting we had, we'd set aside about 10 minutes to do a team building activity that focused on one of these core values, and then we would talk about it. So it really helped the students learn the core values and understand what the core values mean and how they can apply them to their everyday life. Okay. Well, I talked a little bit about checking for updates. You want to do that throughout the season because that will provide clarification to the rules and the missions. And again, that was on that main first site. There are lots of resources. We talked a little bit about the first resource library, the team management resources, things like that. That is all available to you. I've also put another link here to FMA, and FMA stands for First Mid-Atlantic Robotics. That is our local region. So the FMA also has put together a whole list of resources such as training, hardware, mechanical programming, all kinds of things, so to help you. So that's another really good resource for you. Please know that there's just tons of resources out there, and the FIRST community is always willing to help you. Okay, so let's imagine you're getting ready for your competition. The first thing you're going to need to do is register for your competition. Please keep in mind that your registration for competition does not go through your dashboard. In order to register for competition, you have to go to your region's website or your region's, through them. So ours in Pennsylvania, like I said, Eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey is Mid-Atlantic Robotics. So I will go here. I'm going to jump on down, and I'm going to find the events here, and I think it's just there. And then that is where I will find out information about the events in my area, and I'll be able to register. Now, registration in the past has opened around October 1st. The competitions in any given area will limit the amount of teams that can attend, and those places fill up very quickly. So you really want to register as quickly as you can as soon as registration opens. I also mentioned that the parents are going to need to sign the consent release form and then prepare to have a great but long and exhausting day. Here's what happens when you get to a competition. As soon as you register, I should say, the event coordinators will start sending you the information that you need. And one of the things they will send you is your schedule. So make sure that you know your schedule and their parents know your schedule. In general, you will have practice rounds through the morning and judging. So some of the competitions I've gone to, you've had to sign up for practice rounds in the morning. So do make sure you keep that in mind. You might have to go to the practice table and actually sign up for time slots in order to practice, and then also find out when your judging is. I'm going to go here. This is a flow chart for what to expect in the judging. And like I said, the team will be judged on the project, robot design, core values, and so on. Then in the afternoon, you will have 3 official matches of 2.5 minutes to run your missions. And those are consecutive 2.5 minutes. So the timer goes off. You go 1, 2, 3, Lego. Your robot goes out. The students can interact with the robot. You'll have to read the rules on how that's done. And then at the end of the afternoon, whichever of the highest of your 3 matches is what counts towards competition. And then there are rubrics posted by FIRST that you can check to make sure that you know, or your students know, how they are being scored and what the judges are looking for. And that's it. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. You can contact me here at my email. This presentation will also be available for a download at the FRC Team 272 Cyber Crusaders website, www.lcrobotics.org. Thank you.